Well, the snow is finally melting, and we have managed to get back to the studio to record a segment. And Steve, you made it here through the slush.
We did 2 weeks later, but really we didn't miss 2 weeks of action because most of it got consolidated down and canceled.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, when the snow happens, basketball and other sports in the area do not.
That's right. Yeah, because they're all dependent on whether school's in session, and once those schools cancel, the activities are canceled.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. But anyway, we've got a lot to catch up on before we go any further. Thanks to our sponsor, Red Onion Burgers, for supporting our show, and let's get on to basketball.
Yeah, and there's not as much to talk about. Again, over the last couple of weeks, we've gone through district action. Tournaments have taken place. Teams have been eliminated. Two teams that were not, though, were two teams that a lot of folks didn't necessarily expect to be this far, and we're going to talk about them today. Our two girls basketball teams, the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, a team that had a great year last season and then fell apart in districts, did the opposite this year. They struggled a little bit during the regular season, and they're peaking at the right time now. They were able to come through the district playoffs after one loss in particular on Friday night to Arlington. They then had to turn around the next morning and defeat Ferndale, and in doing so, the Warriors are heading to the district playoffs. We're going to talk more about them, though, in a little bit. First, we're going to talk about the Meadowdale Mavericks girls basketball team. They haven't been to regionals in 10 years. They came into the district playoffs as the number 8 seed. Only the top 4 go. Nobody really expecting much from them, and yet, lo and behold, here we are talking about them today. They get through the playoffs. They get a huge 30-28 victory on Saturday against a Shorecrest team that only lost 3 games all season long, a Shorecrest team that was very heavily favored. And in doing so, Meadowdale has punched their ticket into the next round. So we brought in 4 different players from the Mavericks today to talk about their season and to talk about the district playoffs in particular and what that means for the school. Here are 2 sets of interviews, 2 groups of 2, that we did with the Mavericks basketball team. For the first time since 2009, the Meadowdale Mavericks girls basketball team is heading to the state regionals. Kind of a big deal. And we're going to bring back 2 of our guests from not too long ago, and wasn't planning on bringing you back again this year, but how could we pass up this opportunity? Alicia Morrison, Fatu Jete. Ladies, first of all, congratulations. A huge weekend for you. You're going to state.
Yeah.
Kind of a big thing here. Again, 4 teams make it out of the district. You were the number 8 seed going into this tournament. Alicia, I'm going to start with you because I talked to you right before the tournament started. We did a podcast interview, and you seemed extremely confident for a number 8 seed. And apparently you're some sort of prognosticator because here we are. What made you so confident that this team could get through?
I just feel like we had made a lot of progress from when I had talked to you earlier to now, and I knew that we wanted it more a lot than the other teams.
And I'm not going to let you off the hook completely, Fatu. You seem pretty confident too.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing Alicia's saying. I mean, you didn't think you were just a one-and-done type of team in that tournament. You figured you could make it through, right?
We did. Like, our mindset going into districts was we want to go farther than we did last year, and that was one of our goals as a team.
And it wasn't exactly a short road either. You open your with a victory over Linwood. You then have to play Arlington. You lose that game, so you're into the consolation bracket. You defeat a Marysville-Getchell team that you played earlier in the year. Talk about that game a little bit, too. What were the expectations coming in, and how do you feel that the team played, Alicia?
I think the team played really well together. I think we broke down their press a lot because we went through old film, and we looked back, we studied it, and then we just went and attacked. And
then the game that puts you over the hump, so to speak, to put you into the regionals over the weekend, Saturday, neutral site, you're taking on a Shorecrest team that has 18 wins and 3 losses, a team that beat you by 19 just about, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Fatu, you didn't play in that game. You missed did you miss the Shorecrest game, or you did?
No, I did.
You did play in the Shorecrest game. Okay, you played in that game then. You lose by 19. How do you turn that around so quickly? What did you do differently in this game that you didn't in the first one?
We wanted redemption. Like, we knew they had shooters, and so I think defensively we did a really good job stopping their shooters, moving our feet, being straight up, just playing really good defense overall.
And you won the game 30-28, low scoring affair.
Yeah.
Alicia, you felt that you were down 26-17 late in the third quarter.
Yeah, we were.
And Roger O'Neill was broadcasting the game with me, the head boys basketball coach at Meadowdale. And as he pointed out, in a low scoring game, a 9-point lead feels like a 15 or 20-point lead.
Yeah, it does.
Were you feeling like you could come back at that point, honestly?
I think we could have because We really did want it more because we just went in and attacked. We noticed, like, when we went to the locker room, we said, we have to buckle down, we have to get it. We didn't want our season to be over. That just wasn't an option for us. We wanted to continue on. So we just really went after it.
And I think the play of the game might have happened with 2 minutes to go. You're down 26-28, down by 2. Fachi, you get the ball up on top. We're used to seeing you play down low in the post.
Yeah.
They leave you open for 3. You kind of did a pump fake. You weren't sure if you wanted to shoot it. Second time up, you did let it go. You banked in a 3-pointer to give your team the lead, which ultimately ended up being the winning shot. Take me through the play. Did you want to shoot it right away? I mean, you knew they were baiting you, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't made a 3-pointer this year yet either,
No,
correct?
That was first 3-point make this year. I thought about driving too, but I knew that was what she wanted me to do. So I was like, I practiced threes in practice. I'll just take the shot, like no regrets.
Hey, we should point out, you're not exactly like a 5% 3-point shooter. You can hit those, right?
I can hit those.
Alicia, you saw that ball go up. What did you think?
At first, I was like, oh no, like, oh god, like, she doesn't never shoot threes. You don't never shoot threes. I was like, oh. But then I knew that she's been practicing because we had went to the gym before we even went to the game, and she was hitting her stuff. So then I had confidence, and then when I saw it hit the backboard and went in, I started running down the court, having my arms up. I was going crazy. I was so proud.
Yeah, so 29-28 at that point. And then late in the game, you had a chance to ice the game. Well, you went to the free throw line and you missed. Did you get a little nervous thinking, oh, maybe I cost the team there too?
Yeah, I did. I was really nervous because I wasn't really hitting. I don't know if it was the hoops or not, but I was not hitting well that game. And so I was really nervous going into the free throw line. I kept practicing and practicing over and over, repeating the shot. I thought I did cost the team.
And now a very interesting play happened late in the game. You're up by 2. You had fouls to give, so you're not going to necessarily send them to the free throw line unless you foul them in the act of shooting. Amanda Lee has the basketball. She comes down the floor.
Yeah.
You fouled her with 2 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And the look on your face when you go back and watch the game, and people, if they want to, can go back to stspn.com and watch it, was priceless because almost for a moment it looked as though I couldn't tell if you were trying to foul her or if you were concerned that maybe you fouled her shooting a 3-pointer. Were you nervous when you fouled her?
I was nervous, but I remember I had said in the huddle before we even went out, we have 2 fouls to give. Let's use them. That's all it's going to come down to. So I just kind of used it. I was just like, just kind of fouled her.
And then we had one great defensive play left in you at the end of the game, and that came from this young lady over here. They inbound the ball to Sydney Van Ness, their stud shooter on the outside there, tried to get her in the corner for an open 3, and the long arms came out.
They did.
Knocked that ball away. Did you know that? Was that the plan from the get-go? Did you know she was popping out there?
Yeah, because communication on the back row was really good. We're like, shooter's coming out.
Yeah.
And I seen that, and I knew she was going to pass it to her to get it back to Amanda or for her to take a shot. So I was like, oh.
So Alicia gets the assist on that one for giving you the communication, or was it one of the other players?
All the players.
All the players.
Everyone on the court at the time.
Excellent. And first time in 10 years that Meadowdale's been this far. Does the team talk about legacy? I mean, this is a Meadowdale school that for years in the 90s and the early 2000s, they were synonymous with girls basketball. I mean, state championships and runs to the Tacoma Dome. And it's been a rough go for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You know the history a little bit, right? Do you talk about that as a team?
Yeah, we do. I really we talked about how this year we won, it's our seniors last year. We wanted to be we want to be memorable about it. So we really just wanted to get further. And so I was like, we just talked about it a lot all through the season.
So one game coming up later this week, probably Friday or Saturday. Still awaiting the announcement on the opponent. Still awaiting the announcement on the location and the time. So we'll get all that out later on through myedmondsnews.com and also linwoodtoday.com for anybody that's interested. We're starting to think we know who the opponent might be. There's a couple different scenarios right now, options. It could be Snohomish, a team you've played already. But then again, this team seems to do well when they play teams the second time around, right?
Yes.
If you have to play a team you've already played, are you okay with that? I mean, less scouting to do, right?
Yeah, redemption.
It
is redemption.
Another chance for redemption. It could also be West Seattle, so we're still not sure. But regardless, kind of fun to be able to talk regionals, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It feels good.
It is. It feels great.
So we will see if they can win that game. They move on into the state championship round at the Tacoma Dome the following week. And I should also point out we're going to have another interview coming up here momentarily. We've already had the 2 of you on this year, so I didn't want to talk too much about your games in general, but we're going to talk to Soraya Swinton and Keisha Stark. You going to give me any good intel, any questions I should be asking them about?
Yes. Ask Soraya about her passes and Keisha's ball handling. They're really good.
Keisha's ball handling, Soraya's passes, and Soraya, the MVP of the Marysville Getchell game.
Yeah,
Yes.
for that.
I think we got a little something to go on.
Yeah.
Fun group here, a group of ladies and a team that has been practicing hard all year. Hard work does pay off sometimes, doesn't it?
It does.
Excellent. So they're going to be heading to regionals. We're excited for them. Congratulations to the two of you and your teammates, and best of luck this week.
Thank you.
And now it's time for part 2 of our interview with the Meadowdale Mavericks girls basketball team. Joining us right now, 2 of their other players, Keisha Stark, who is a sophomore, and Soraya Swinton, a junior. Ladies, same question I asked Alicia and Fatu. How does this feel? You are going to the regionals at state for the first time in 10 years for Meadowdale. Keisha, I've got to think this is just a huge honor.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we haven't got here, like you said, in 10 years. It's a big deal, and there's a lot of emotion and some tears, too.
What was that locker room like?
It was amazing. Like, we were all so hyped up and, like, yelling and screaming. We were all, like, so happy and, like, overcome with emotion.
And Soraya, it wasn't an easy road either, right? I mean, this is a team that was ranked number 8 going into the district tournament. Only the top 4 come out of there, so you had to pull off a couple upsets. Did you ever think this was a possibility?
It depended, like, through the season. Sometimes we were up, sometimes we were down with the way things were going. And then towards the end of the season, we just pushed through and wanted to actually go somewhere and, like, prove ourselves to everyone, prove ourselves to the team, to the other players, to our, like, student section, because they didn't show up, just to everyone, that we could do it, that we were that team.
And that team has gotten to where they are right now. And like we mentioned, you had to go through 3 different wins to get here. Soraya, I was told from the other 2 ladies that you were the MVP of the Marysville Getchell game. Keisha's shaking her head yes. So tell me a little bit about your game against Getchell.
I don't know what just hit me. I was just like, today's the day. Like, today is the game. I don't know. I just decided I wanted to prove myself to my coach, to everyone, that I could, like, score, not only, like, make assists, get rebounds, but to score, like, help my team. So I just drove the ball a lot.
Well, and that's a nice little segue for me, too, because I'm going to give a shirt away that I've owed for about a month now, or maybe even longer than that. Keisha, we had you as our Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Game. I think it was 5 or 6 weeks ago. Yeah. But to what Soraya was just saying, I'm going to give you that shirt and hold it up and wear it proudly. To what Soraya was just saying, on any given night, there are so many different players on this team that can come through. If one player is having an off night, it seems like somebody else steps up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, some people have off games where it's just like your shot isn't hitting or whatever it is, and like other people have to step up and, you know, take that.
It's been kind of fun to watch that team progress like that too. So the girls before, Alicia and Fatu, were mentioning, Keisha has the ball handling skills, Soraya has the mad passing skills. Tell me a little bit about each other. Keisha, I'll start with you. Tell me about Soraya's game and what she brings to the team.
You have really great drives. Like, she has some really nice. She goes really strong to the hoop, and she has really good passes, as you said, like assists. I don't know how. You can really see the court well. And you're like one of the smaller players out there, but she gets a lot of rebounds. And she's a really fun player to play with. And she's really supportive when, like, I'm upset or anyone else.
And then, Soraya, what about Keisha? What kind of a game does she have?
Keisha is honestly one of my favorite people to play with. Like, us together is, like, crazy. Like, it could be, like, just us 2 against basically, like, whoever's pressing us, and we can just work together so well, passing the ball around to get it up the court. And her drives, sometimes when I don't really feel like taking the ball up, I just give it to Keisha and make her run a play where she can score, pass the ball. Her ball handling's crazy also. Like, never seen someone dribble like that before.
Well, and the 2 of you in the backcourt, you rotate a lot too, right? So talk about the communication skills and what those bring to the table there too, because the 2 of you have played together for a while, it sounds like.
No, actually, I met her freshman year when she transferred to Meadowdale from Edmonds-Woodway, and yeah.
We just, like, instantly clicked. Like, we instantly just,
yeah,
were, like, playing with each other like how we were since, like, we were little.
So when you're in the backcourt together, do you kind of have a feel for what the other one's going to do at this point? Is it more instinctive when you're out there on the floor with one another?
Yeah, like, I kind of know her game and, like, what she likes to do and stuff, so, like, you know.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
And both of you play AAU ball, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How has playing AAU gotten you ready for this level when you're starting to go towards regionals now and you're looking at maybe playing teams, potentially you might be playing Snohomish, we don't know yet, but you could be playing a West Seattle another team. When you start to play other teams around the area, how does playing AAU ball get you ready for big moments?
I think like playing year round or AAU, it like makes it so that you don't have any rust when you come back to high school season, and you just like keep grinding like through it, and like you're just ready when it comes to high school.
So we're one game away from maybe getting to the Dome and the big tournament. The fact that you've gotten this far, are you satisfied at this point? I mean, obviously, if you were to lose this week, it's still a successful season. You'll take that. But Soraya, you kind of want a little bit more, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just because, like I said before, that we just like wanted to prove ourselves, and I believe that we can keep going because we've gone so far. I don't want to give up now, and we had so many goals this year that we wanted like to complete, like get a winning season, go to districts, and make it further into districts, and that's exactly what we've done. So might as well just keep it going, keep setting more goals to get.
What's playing another week, right? We'll try to take it that far forward. And I did want to ask a little bit about you as individuals too, because we had a little fun with Alicia and Fatu earlier this year, and with various podcast interviews and whatnot. Keisha, a little birdie tells me you're a pretty good Fortnite player. Are you the Fortnite champion on the Meadowdale Mavericks girls basketball team?
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
Soraya's going to answer that question for you.
I play a lot. Like, anytime I, like, finish homework and, like, don't have practice, I'm always on that.
So you're not like ninja good, but you're up there.
I'm up there, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Playing other games as well, or?
Yeah. Apex Legends, and I don't know, I play a lot of stuff.
She actually put Fatu on it too.
Oh yeah, I know. I put her on the trend.
Okay, so we're hoping they're playing each other, going down to the Tacoma Dome maybe in a little while. And Soraya, I'm told you're the dancer on the team, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'll own that, okay.
In the locker room, I just get everyone hyped with my nice moves, you know.
Any particular kind of dances, or just whatever the mood feels like and the music's playing, or is that?
Yeah, the whoa.
So if we had a little more room, we'd show the whoa, but we're hoping maybe you can do the whoa at the Tacoma Dome in a couple weeks.
Oh, I will. Yes.
There we go. So again, the Meadowdale Mavericks with a 30-28 victory over Shorecrest this weekend. Shorecrest team that was 18-3, and in picking up that victory, the Mavericks advanced to the regional state round for the first time in 10 years. Keisha, Soraya, excellent job. Congratulations and best of luck this week.
Thank you.
So much fun to see the Mavericks headed back to the regionals after that long gap. And, you know, it's funny because when my daughter was playing basketball at Edmonds-Woodway many years ago, it was right at the time that Meadowdale was the team.
Mm-hmm. They were the powerhouse.
And, in fact, everybody at Edmonds-Woodway, where my daughter attended, the thing was if we could just beat Meadowdale, right? And then the tables kind of turned, and now they're back, and it's just fun to see that happen.
It was interesting. I actually broadcasted their game against Shorecrest on Saturday for STSPN.com if anybody wants to go back and rewatch it. And Roger O'Neill, the boys coach, did the game with me. He was our color commentator. And, of course, Roger's sisters, two of the best basketball players to ever come out of Snohomish County for Meadowdale, winning those state championships back in the day. So Roger really grew up with that program. And, of course, Roger, being who he is, he has all the stats ready to go and all the background information. They had advanced to the regional/state tournament 14 consecutive years up until 2009. 14 years in a row, all of a sudden everything comes to a crashing halt, and now 10 years later they're finally getting back. So perhaps we're starting to see a resurgence in the Meadowdale program. Maybe a little too early to determine that, but this is a fairly young team too. There were only 3 or 4 seniors on the entire squad, and most of the players who were contributing in key roles were younger players, so they might just be starting something here. It should be kind of interesting to see.
It's always fun, and it's fun to see all the teams do well. And speaking of which, that's a good segue into Edmonds-Woodway, right?
Yeah, this is a girls program that has had a little success over the last few years. In particular, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, we saw that team with Missy Peterson and the Burdettes and all of them get to the state tournament. A team that came oh so close last year. Again, we mentioned it during the opening segment, only losing 2 regular season games, only to see it all come crashing down before they were able to get to regionals. Different story this year. Much like Meadowdale, they weren't expected to get through the districts, or at least some people were questioning whether or not they could, and yet here we are talking about them too. So we brought in 2 of their players, Rebecca and AJ, along with Coach John Rasmussen, to talk about this wild and crazy run they've been on this year and what's to come for them. And we have another Edmonds School District basketball team that is heading to regionals next week, the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors girls. And joining us right now, AJ Martineau, the point guard, who's a junior. We also have Rebecca DeSala-Good, one of the seniors on the team, and the head coach, John Rasmussen. Ladies, coach, congratulations. You're finally going back to regionals. John, I'm going to start with you. Compare and contrast the two seasons a little bit. Last year, this team goes 18 wins and 2 losses. You're ranked number 2 going into the districts, and you get eliminated. You don't even make it to regionals. This year, with most of the same players, 11 wins, 8 losses. You're the 5 seed, and we all think you're going to maybe get knocked out before you even get there again. And now you advance. Go figure.
Wow, it was our schedule was a lot tougher, our non-league. So that was a big part of some of the losses. And we hit a stretch of the road that right after the first of the year, we lost 4 in a row, and we lost some very close games to Arlington and Snohomish and Getchell. And, the ball just wasn't bouncing quite right. We had been battling injuries and little things. And, it was the team pulled together. And once we could get there and we could get the games in because of the snow, I thought we could do some damage. And I wasn't surprised what happened. So,
Rebecca, you're a senior. You've been on this team for a while. Any concern for you and some of your teammates during the year as some of those losses were kind of mounting a little bit? Did you worry about that at all?
No, not really. I know our team was really able to work hard in practices, and we all kind of came together and stayed positive and was able to, get to where we are now.
AJ, a lot of times when teams start losing, you see kind of some divisions amongst the players, and they don't quite stay as unified as they have been in the past. This team, I kind of get the impression that that's never been the case, though, right?
No, I think the losses brought us together more as a team almost. Like, the team aspect was definitely there. The games weren't going quite our way, but everyone was still coming together, supporting each other, and I just think that we knew that we were going to be able to make it to this point sometime in the year.
And there was some concern for a while that you may not make it into regionals, not because of anybody you were going to play on the floor, but because of an even bigger opponent, Mother Nature. With those snow days, John, we kept hearing more and more that if things kept getting pushed back, they were going to eventually possibly cancel the district tournament and just let the top 4 teams that were seeded qualify for regions. You guys were the number 5 seed. You would have been the odd one out looking in. How concerned were you last week as the snow continued to fall?
I'm not going to lie. I was very concerned. And it got to Thursday, I think it was. And we were going to play Thursday, but we were going to first try to play Wednesday. And we couldn't get that in, and I was getting very nervous. And I finally texted our athletic director and said, if we can't get a bus there, I've already arranged for transportation, because I was going to get our team to Getchell one way or the other, because I wanted to settle it on the court, and it wasn't right for the girls. And, wow, look at us as a 5 seed and Meadowdale as 8 seed. The teams that will be representing are the teams that are the hottest at the end. And, another bad one would have been Ferndale. They wouldn't even have a chance to play for it. So I'm glad it got settled on the court, but I'm not going to lie, I was very nervous. So,
and as far as being stuck in the houses and not being able to get out on the basketball court, what's it been like for the players? Rebecca, for you, you're not able to practice on a regular basis. You kind of get into a rhythm throughout the season. Was there talk amongst players? Did you have a chance to get together during the break at all? Or
Yeah, we had, we were all talking. We were all just like, okay, we haven't practiced in a long time, so we were either able to get into the gym our own time or kind of just try to hoop ourselves. So I know a lot of us were even able to just go on a little run on treadmill or something. So we all tried to find something to do to stay in shape.
AJ, you're the point guard. Were you dribbling the ball throughout the house, 2 feet of snow outside? Or what?
I wasn't quite doing that, but we did have a organized practice at Church of God where our team just ran it, and it was really good to just get in the gym again. And I think we were just really effective and had a really good practice, so it was nice to be doing that. But at first I was a little shaky, a little rusty.
The rust wore off pretty quickly. They were able to get it done. The first game of this district tournament was against Marysville-Getchell. They were the seed right up above you. They were a team that beat you during the regular season. We talked to the Meadowdale girls earlier in the show, and they talked about redemption and wanting a second chance at teams that beat them. How much of the Getchell game was about redemption and getting a chance to play a team that maybe, Rebecca, you had lost? Or Coach?
Well, I can say it was big. We wanted them bad, and, we knew that we could beat them. But they're a good team, and but we wanted a second chance. And by getting it, we came out really good. We were up 27-10. after having, one practice in a week or 6 days and not playing for 13 days, these girls played outstanding that first game, and it's a testament to them how bad they wanted it. So, it was great to get redemption on Marysville Getchell.
And then it was an interesting weekend. You played a game on Friday night against Arlington. If you win that game, you advance to the district championship, and by doing so, you would have already punched your ticket into regionals. If you lose that game, you have to play a consolation game the next day with another chance to get to regionals. Arlington, you have a 6-point lead over the top-seeded team in the district at halftime. Things went a little bit astray in the second half. They started shooting, they beat you, and not only do you lose a game, but then you have to get ready and play an 11 o'clock game the next morning. AJ, as a player, what kind of a mentality do you have to have at that point? I mean, how quickly can you get over a loss and know that, hey, we have to play for our playoff lives 18 hours later?
Well, after the game, everyone's talking about like short-term memory. It was just a concept that was brought up a lot, and I think our team did a good job of having that. We kind of, it was frustrating. We really wanted to make it to the district championship, and it would have been super cool, but this year we've been underestimated so much, and coming into that Ferndale game, we knew we had to just come to play, and I think right after we left that locker room, we were frustrated, but we were just focused on the next game.
And John, what was your message to the girls at that point?
I think I held on to the Arlington loss more than the girls did, but it was a tough one. I told them once we leave this gym at Arlington, we got to move on. And the nice thing is most of these girls play AAU. I think a big key for us was we played in the Glacier Peak tournament this winter, and we played 3 back-to-back games, and our third game was on 10 a.m. at Glacier Peak. So it was just about what we'd had to do, and so we were ready to play, and it really helped us from previous experiences, I believe, in this case.
And apparently one of your players who likes to play morning games is this young lady right here. We should mention, Rebecca, you had a 22-point game against Ferndale on Saturday morning, which put this team into the regionals, 58-47 victory. And for your effort, we're giving you the Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. So we're going to hand that shirt over to you. Talk about your game a little bit. 22 points, big morning for you. I mean, did you wake up that morning? Did you have something different for breakfast? What was different?
I mean, I'll be honest. I did text my mom the night before, and I was like, "Mom, I'm kind of craving chocolate chip pancakes," and she was like, "Okay." And so that's what I had for breakfast. I was like, "Okay, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do every time." But it was crazy because Arlington, I felt like I didn't play my best, so definitely wanted to get back into it the next game. So definitely felt like I had something more to prove, and it was great because I had my whole family there and my teammates behind me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, 3 threes, I think, in the first half alone. And John, you were able to get out to a nice lead, 18-5 at the end of the first quarter. Again, 3 games in 3 days, a morning game. I know even talking to the girls off camera, they were mentioning fatigue a little bit starting to set in. Nice to have that little buffer, so to speak, with that lead, right?
It was, and I was able to use the bench, and they gave my starters and reserves some rest, and it was awesome. And I just, now that I know it's chocolate chip pancakes, they're mandatory, I guess. Maybe the whole team has to come over to Rebecca's house and eat. But no, it was nice to get off on a good lead. They ended up zoning us early, and I think it was a downfall for Ferndale, and we were hitting our shots, and Rebecca was hitting them too, and it was awesome.
It was pretty awesome indeed. AJ, what does it mean for this team to get back to regionals?
It's so awesome. We've had a bad taste in our mouth since last year, and I know some girls on our team have made it to the Dome before, and they've told us stories about how amazing the experience was. And my freshman year, we made it back to regionals, and it was just such a cool opportunity to be able to make it there. And this year, it was really for our seniors. I think we really did it for them, and it's just cool to get back there with such a cool team. Like, I love this team so much, and every single game I play for my teammates, and to get that win last night against Ferndale was really big.
And John, you've been to the Dome. You've coached there in some big games.
Yeah.
Have you kind of instilled in them what it would mean to get there and what that experience is like?
I have, and it's an experience, and we still got one more game to get there, though. So it's one more step, and if we can get there, these girls are more than deserving of it. And I've told them all the way along that in the early 2000s, Meadowdale won the state championship with 10 losses. Mm-hmm. So who knows? We're at 9 losses now, but I think we're the best 13-9 team in the state, and I wouldn't want to play us right now.
Well, and I think a lot of folks would even argue that you're at 0 losses now. It starts all over, right? Everybody has the same record. We should point out we're still waiting. It might not be until Tuesday morning-ish that we find out exactly who you're playing and where. We think there's a good chance you might be playing West Seattle. If not West Seattle, maybe even Hudson's Bay. So we will stay tuned for that. And, John, that's another question there. Because of the tournaments getting pushed back the way they have, normally early in the weekend here, you would know who your next opponent is for regionals. You're not going to have as much time. Studying for teams, preparing, does it change the way you get ready for this week?
No, we've got all week to prepare. We only had one day to prepare for Getchell. So, I'm going to feel spoiled. But I think we'll go on a little scouting trip. If it is West Seattle, they play tomorrow at Sammamish High School. And I believe we'll get as many of our teammates out there to watch that. And there's another game. If Holy Names, I believe, if they beat Roosevelt, then we could play Hudson Bay. So, I think we'll have more than enough time. Tomorrow we'll be conditioning again and just resting up after 3 tough games. But I'm excited, and whoever we play, I'm just happy to be there.
Congratulations on not only an excellent season, but a great run through the tournament and making it to regionals. First time in 2 years, Coach, and hopefully we'll be talking about the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors after next week and possibly into the Tacoma Dome. AJ, Rebecca, Coach Rasmussen, best of luck to you this week.
Thank you.
Good luck to the Warriors and the Mavericks, and now let's jump right into swimming, shall we?
We shall. The state championships were this past weekend down in Federal Way. A handful of our swimmers down there. We want to talk about 2 of the relay teams in particular. They were the 2 that placed on the podium. The Edmonds-Woodway boys 200 medley relay team took 6th place, and that relay team consisted of Jeff Plume, Daniel Eno, Yuting Wang, and Anton Tepluhoff. And then the 200 freestyle relay team for Edmonds-Woodway took 7th place. Plum and Eno both on that squad as well, along with Lucas Mraz and Nico Inadomi. So congratulations to all 6 of those swimmers, all up on the podium. And if I mispronounced any of your names, we apologize.
I was just going to say, I'm always so glad that you have that job and I don't.
I'm pretty sure I got Jeff Plume right.
Yeah.
But we'll hope for fingers crossed for the rest. Even though we've had a few of them in studio, we should know them.
Okay, and then we move on to wrestling, and I guess we have to, before we get into the results of the student athletes, of course, the big news was that Brian Alfie, the longtime coach of the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors wrestling team, was named 3A Wrestling Coach of the Year.
He did. He won that honor, which is a huge deal.
Yeah,
So
congratulations.
And well-deserved, too. Brian's really put together a solid program there. We've talked about it ad nauseum on this show. And for him to have 19 wrestlers at state this year, and not only the work that he does with the team directly, but some of the youth programs to help build up that program, again, he very deserving of that award, and congratulations to Brian.
Yeah. So how did the athletes do?
Well, we had a few of them place. I only wrote down the top 6, or the ones that placed on the podium 6th or above. So just to kind of run that down real quick, Grayson Lecomte from Edmonds-Woodway took 2nd place in the 126-pound category. Grayson took 3rd at state last year, so a slight improvement. I know he had his eyes on that state championship, but so close, but nonetheless, nothing to frown about when you're taking 2nd. We're going to give out a shirt here real quick. We weren't going to give one to Grayson because we awarded him one earlier this year. Alex Rappelje, also from Edmonds-Woodway, 4th place in the 120-pound category. Alex, we've got a shirt with your name on it. You are the Action Jackson Plumbing Athlete of the Week, Male Athlete of the Week for your efforts down in the Tacoma Dome. Congratulations to you. And then we want to mention Victoria Keys, who we've had on the show before. She took 4th place in her weight category on the girls' side of things. And then we had 2 Meadowdale wrestlers place. We had Jen Lee, who took 6th place at the 126-pound category, and Alex Kruger, 6th place in the 285-pound category. So not a bad weekend for Snohomish County and Edmonds School District wrestlers. I think a few of those folks wanted to be a little higher up on the podium, but you know what? You placed. It's a big deal.
Right.
That's not an easy thing to do when you're down at the Matt Classic.
Well, congratulations to all the wrestlers. And, we have basketball is the only thing left, right, for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we have our 2 girls basketball teams that were on the show earlier. So everything else is wrapped up as far as the winter sports are concerned. We start looking to spring. We'll certainly have a few interviews we still want to do, too. Unfortunately, the snow kind of impeded some of the plans we had. So we're going to bring in some of the athletes who participated over the weekend and talk to some of our athletes who placed at state on different sports. We Might even still talk a little cheer. Who knows?
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, stay tuned for next weekend. We'll have more sports results, basketball results for you. And gosh, spring sports are going to start soon, even though we're still digging out from the snow.
Snow is melting on the ground still, and we're going to be talking baseball and softball and others very quickly. And golf, who knew?
Yeah, okay. All right, well, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you soon.